This is Money Motivation and Mike, and I am your host, Michael Wainwright. In charge of all the controls is engineer Jason Wright. And hello to you, world. This is the show that will change your life. You can contact us at info@mx3.vip and find all of our content at mx3.vip or on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/@mx3podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notified of all of our new content, which Jason puts out around 9 o'clock every Monday morning. And Jason, for those 86,000 plus subscribers we have right now on YouTube, they are going to have a very interesting day listening to this show, as obviously the viewers and obviously the podcasters listening to the show will as well. And some people would think that we are going into uncharted waters, an area where most shows will not go because of the backlash that comes with it. And I have been reading since last Tuesday's election results and the responses that have came along with the Republican being elected, and frankly a romp, in the words of Stephen A. Smith, a black male sports host. So we're fixing to get into this here momentarily and talk about, I'm going to read you the headlines. I'm going to give you something else, and then we're going to go into this. And this is Michaela Bramwell. She's on the BuzzFeed staff. She posted and wrote an article 24 hours ago. 1 week after the election, Black Americans are sharing their thoughts and feelings about the outcome, and they're not holding back. That's what we're going to do today. 1 week after the presidential election, many are still raw after Donald Trump defeated Kamala Harris, according to exit poll data. Black Americans overwhelmingly voted for the vice president, so we ask Black Americans to share their thoughts on the election outcome and the future of the divided America. Now, before I get into this, I want to tell you a few things about my own personal life so that I don't come across to you as what you may consider to be a racist. As well as all the information I'm giving you is just factual evidence and not necessarily my opinions, even though this show is made up of money, motivation, and Mike's opinions. But it is disturbing to me that this is where we still are in the year 2024. I'm a white, male, 55-year-old person in the United States of America. Born in the United States of America, born in Denison, Texas. Obviously, I am a registered voter, and I do exercise that right on every election that comes along. I grew up in an athletic department surrounded by black athletes. Some of my best friends, still to this day, was with them in a gathering just a couple of months ago. I have taken many, many showers with black males. That's what you do when you're in athletics. You have showers, they're big, you go in, you take a shower. My first house in 1991, Jason, the next door neighbor was black. As the person showing me the house pointed out, the only negative to this house is your next door neighbor. They are black. Now, obviously, I didn't take too kindly to that. And that was not a deterrent for me buying that house. We bought that house. And those next door neighbors were very good people. Very, very good people. Enjoyed them being my neighbors. I have a sister who married a black man. I have 3 black nephews that I am in contact with to this day. Went to dinner with that particular sister just this last week. In the election that we just had, on our local level, we had a black female running for district attorney against a white male. I voted for the black female for district attorney because I felt she was the most qualified for the job. And according to what I have read and the resumes, she was and still is. She didn't win. My son's, one of my son's best friends growing up was a black. That boy played on all of our ball teams. He typically stayed with us. He slept in the same bed as my son on virtually every baseball trip we ever took. So I want to throw all that out at you before I read and go through today's topic about how black Americans feel that racist is still a part of this life that we live, all due to an election of a president of the United States. And I'm sure there is, but not to the degree of what I have read. As a matter of fact, it's pretty disturbing to me. But here are some of the quotes that, remember, Michelle Bramwell, BuzzFeed Post staff, and her article about this particular topic and her interviews. Here's the first one. Quote, "I'm done. I'm just done. I am not hurt or angry because I was. I'm not protesting or going door to door or signing wanted Trump. I'm just done." Here's the second one. Quote, "Kamala, like most black women, did the best she could in the time allotted." And I would agree with that. A lot of her loss could be definitely put at the footsteps of President Biden and at the footsteps of the Democratic Party, even though she raised $1 billion and is still in debt. $20 million, Jason. I don't know how that's even possible. Another subject, another day. Quote, "Kamala, like most black American." Start over. "Kamala, like most black women, did the best she could in the time allotted. I'm not shocked she lost. Americans keep trying to gaslight black Americans as if they're not racist. 4 years ago, it was a crime that was their concern. With crime down and the economy going in the right direction under the Democrats, they did gymnastics to use that as their issue. Trump, he will justify him by saying he's not racist." End of quote. Quote, "I feel honestly depressed that so many other communities have taken from us and used us black people for political gain and solidarity, but we're unable to vote accordingly." Unquote. Quote, I feel numb. That's sad if the demeaning and degrading words that were spoken about her by Trump, her mean vice president, by Trump and J.D. Vance, it's sad. This is how they feel about black women. She held her head high. I don't know how he got all those votes. End quote. All right. Let me fact check here for a minute, Jason. This America country voted black female Kamala Harris into the vice president's position 4 years ago, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And the Democratic Party, who is made up, I'm going to say at least 80 to 85% white folk, put Kamala Harris on the ticket as the presidential nominee for the Democrats, correct?
That's correct.
And she did not even win one particular state in the primary.
No.
She wasn't even up for a primary.
No. Biden won the primary.
How could the Democrats put up a black female? How is this possible? That don't sound racist to me. We'll continue on. I'm just confused on 8 years ago, we had a white female president, a candidate for president. 4 years ago, we elected a black female vice president. And here we are today, just had an election that had a black female person running for president of the United States. And we're still talking about how racist. I'm going to assume, I guess it's the whites, the Latinos, the Native Americans. I guess it's everybody that's racist against the blacks, because those are all the people who voted in this election and elected Donald Trump. Here's another quote. It's a hard pill to swallow, knowing that some of us got conned by Trump. Sure, he tried to appeal to the black vote, only to insult us more by shoving some lame blank sneakers in our face as a means to relate. Even more so, he thought having a rap sheet and going to jail was more reliable. Don't get me going about the immigrant invading cities. Those of you who did, shame on you. You blank around and now going to truly find out how much he cares. End quote. Next one. Quote, sad to say that if slavery were on the ballot today, it would overwhelmingly pass. This is how deeply Trump has stoked the racism in this country. And it came through for him. Also, Kamala was too confident in white women voting for her. They are never dependable when it comes to dismantling the administration. Ripping on white women. I'm disappointed, is another quote. I'm disappointed in America. Trump has been running for 8 years, and you all believe what he says. He made you believe that immigrants were running America. They aren't. He made you believe that everyone is against him while leaving out the fact that he's a known criminal. He made you believe that all the cases against him were made up as if he didn't actually commit the crimes. End quote. How about this one? As a black American, I'm scared. Think about it. If he successfully deports Mexicans, Venezuelans, and El Salvadorians, guess who he's coming to next? The Africans. After them, the Muslims, the Asians, the Indians. He wants a white America. He only cares about whiteness in America. That's scary to those of us who aren't white, end quote. Do we realize that this man basically formed the United States Football League in the mid-'80s, made up of black athletes? Do you know the black candidates that he has supported who have ran for Congress and Senate, including one of his biggest supporters and a well-known name of Herschel Walker? Okay. Quote, I think black Americans need to 100% turn to deploying our own Project 2025 instead of being reactionary and focus on somebody else's plan. Anytime you don't have a plan of your own, you will fall victim to someone else who does have a plan. I don't know what that means. America is going to be America. This wasn't because of some people who didn't show up because they disagreed with her stance on Israel or anything like that. They were voting against the black female. I'm very disappointed by the results of the election. I would like to see another minority president in my lifetime. I would also like to see a female president in my lifetime. I don't know if that will ever happen now. I work in education, so I am dreading anything happening to the Department of Education. I am also worried for seniors in this country as ending health care is on Trump's agenda. Why does it have to be a minority president? Why does it have to be a female black president? Why can't it just be the most qualified person?
A president for the American people, no matter what color you are. Why does it have to be a specific race or gender? It's who is best qualified for the job.
As I pointed out a while ago with the local district attorney's race, I voted for the candidate I thought was best for the job. I did not consider the candidates white and black. I did not consider the candidates black, female, white, male. And that's what it was. When I listen to some of the things that come out of Vice President Harris's mouth, just like some of the things that come out of President-elect Donald Trump's mouth, I don't say black idiot. I don't say white idiot. I just say idiot. I'm a black American woman who also a Gen Xer. How do I feel about Vice President Kamala Harris's presidential loss to Donald Trump? I feel stupid. But not because I feel tricked or deceived by the media or any voting bloc. I feel stupid forgetting that in this country, black women are hated, loathed, and revealed. Yet somehow I thought because a man named President Obama, who spent 8 years in the White House, I didn't even bring that up yet, Jason. We had a black president for 8 years. That maybe people would not have a hang-up about a black woman becoming commander-in-chief. I should have known better. It is now clear that a racist piece of filth was preferred to many Democratic voters. That's what this person, anonymous, said about Democratic voters. That they would rather vote for a racist piece of filth in Donald J. Trump. Calling out their own party. Quote, the majority of the nation spoke loud and clear on election day. They will elect anyone before they elect a black woman for president. Now, back up here in this other quote when it says, I feel stupid, not because I feel tricked or deceived by the media. How would you feel deceived by the media? The majority of the media has leaned one way or another. And in my opinion, majority, and this is an opinion, the other stuff I've said to this point has been factual. My opinion is that the media did lean towards the black female candidate more than the white male candidate. Disappointed but not surprised that a black person did not get elected. Once again, in the last 16 years of the presidential election, Jason, half of those years have been held by a black person. And the other 4 years of the other 8 have been held by a black female vice president. In all honesty, it's not completely surprising the way things turned out. But at the same time, I still had a bit of faith that people would do what is best for the people. I just want to ask Trump voters, make America great again, all of you, why you hate me. I have done nothing to you but try to live my life according to God's will and plan for me. But I have been hunted by the KKK at my university. And now my people are receiving text messages about showing up to plantation fields to pick cotton. Why? There is nowhere in the Bible where it says one race rules over the other. End quote. Now, I haven't heard anything about a KKK reporting in years.
No.
And because this person that we don't even know who it is, your candidate did not get elected. We hate you. How about that? Because you didn't vote for my candidate, you don't care about America. Says it right there. Right here in quotes. In this article from BuzzFeed staff writer Michaela Bramwell. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. I'm anxious. We have got to find a way to get some of these people on this show. I'm anxious to hear. We have close to 100,000 subscribers, viewers, and even more listeners. Our audience is strong. Our audience is big. Come on our show. Your exposure will be immense. And finally, quote, how do I feel? Like America finally cannot ignore its wrenches underbelly anymore. No more hand waving about how minorities and women are treated. No more making uninformed decisions and somehow not having consequences due to privileges. No more scapegoats being lined up for slaughter. End quote. Have you ever known of any election that has been called because of racism? I don't either.
None come to mind.
None come to mind. Okay. When President Obama was elected back-to-back years, did anybody throw up racism? The black man got voted. I feel that you don't care for me, white male, and something should be done about it. No. We, the American people, turned right around and elected a black female vice president. We've had blacks, we've had females, we've had a black female involved in every race since the turn of the century, Jason. Every race. And somehow, here we are. Now, I'm going to go right here to the black vote in our previous election, United States of America, president election. Black folk in general. I'm going to call them black Americans because that's what they are. Have to be an American to vote, Jason. Black Americans 18 to 29 years old. 84% voted for Harris. 15% voted for Trump. Remember, we also have some others in the election. White folk, 18 to 29. Now remember, 84% of the blacks, 18 to 29, voted for Harris, black female. What do you think that percentage was of white 18 to 29?
Half.
Shouldn't it be, according to this article and according to what the people who were interviewed here, what that tells me is, without even looking at the numbers, that 84% of the whites, of the white folk, 18 to 29, 84% should have voted for the white candidate. Would you believe only 49% voted for Trump? Mm-hmm. And it is half. It's 49% to 49%. White folk, 18 to 29, which makes up 8% of our population, voted basically right down the middle. And the black vote, 18 to 29, which only makes up 2% of our population, voted 84% for the black female candidate. How about that? Okay, now let's go to 65 and older. Okay, these people have been around for a long time. They have seen a lot of presidential elections. You're 65 and over. You were right there on the edge of the 1960s and rights and MLK and all those things, correct? Blacks 65 years of age and older. 93% voted for the black female candidate. 5%. Only 5% voted for Trump. Black female. Black 65 plus. White 65 plus. And by the black 65 plus account for 3% of our population. White 65 plus account for 22% of our population. The second largest population of people in the United States of America. Okay? Black 65 plus, 93%. That would mean 93% probably voted for Trump. Only 55% of white 65 plus voted for Trump. 65 plus whites, 44% voted for the black female. These are the people who have been to war. These are the people that are about Social Security. These are the people who lived in racist times. 44% of them voted for the black female. Incredible. Racist at its finest, Jason. Wouldn't you say so?
Seems to be.
Let me just run through this here for you. So I told you the whites, 18 to 29, 49%. Trump, 49. Whites, 30 to 44. 42% voted for the black female. 55% voted for the white male. It's not 50%. It's not a 50-50 deal, but the numbers are on up there. Here is the largest population of people in the United States of America. Whites, 45 to 64. Makes up 25%. 37% of those racist white people aged 45 to 64 voted for the black female. Can you believe that? Guess how many blacks 45 to 64, which makes up 4%, of the population and the largest part of the black population. 83% voted for the black female, but the whites are racist. What else does that show you? Only 15% of black folk from 45 to 64 voted for Trump. White folk in America make up 70% of our population. They ranged from 30 in the four different age classifications, from 37 to 49% voting for the black female. 37 to 49%, making up 70% of the population. 37, 42, 44, and 49 in the four different categories. Okay? Black folk making up 12% of the United States population. Here's how many of them voted for Trump. 15%, 15%, 15%, and 5%. That means 84%, 82%, 83%, and 93% voted for the black female. These white people are racist. But 85+% on the average, which means that less than 15% on the average voted for the white male. And the white people are racist. I've got it right here. Quotes. I got 16 different quotes from BuzzFeed staff. Right here. Mrs. Bramwell. By the way, she's a black female. You didn't know that, did you?
Did not know that.
I didn't think it mattered. It's the first time I've mentioned it here in 30 plus minutes on this show. Let's finish this deal up here. Latinos. Did you know the Latinos? Here's your next go round. The black folk in the United States of America make up 12%. The Latinos in the United States of America, guess what percent they make up, Jason?
Tell me.
12%. They have the same population as the black folk.
Okay.
When was the last time you heard a Latino holler race?
Don't recall it.
Have you seen any articles of why a Latino has not ran for president of the United States or vice president of the United States? No. Who's really been being racist against? Okay. These Latinos. For the sake of time, in the four categories, here's how they voted. This is all for the black female. 49%, 52%, 50%, 58%. For the white male, 47%, 45%, 49%, and 41%. Latinos voted majority for the black female. And all other races that make up 6% in the United States of America. That's half the size of the black population. 48% for the black female. 46% for the white male. That leaves 6% more going to the other candidates. I don't know what those numbers tell you, but I know what they tell me. If the white voters from age 18 to 65 plus in the four categories that make up 70% of the United States of America, if those white voters had voted in the 85 plus percentile for a white male for the president of the United States, they would call it a crime. They would call it war. They would call it racism. They would call it a lot of other ugly words. Black folk from 18 to 65 plus voted 85 percentile plus for the black female candidate. And they're the ones who are hollering racism. I don't know what else to say, other than it's a topic of sensitivity. And it's a topic of sensitivity because all the races don't want to speak the truth. Everybody thinks they're getting screwed. Is that... How long has that been going on, Jason? Did Donald Trump start up slavery back in the 1800s? Was he responsible for assassinating President Lincoln? By the way, that was a white man.
Democrat by that.
Hey, I'm not saying that he doesn't have his faults, and he does, just like we all do. And he has made remarks that I don't agree with. The Trump voters went out and voted 7 million more votes than the Harris bunch did. And because of those millions of votes, Donald Trump's a racist, and basically so are all of his voters.
That is what they're saying.
But this 85% black vote is not racist. And the fact that the Latinos have zero representation is not racist. The fact that the other 6%, which is half of the black vote population, the fact that they have no representation, they're not racist either. They're not crying racist. Racism. Money, Motivation, and Mike obviously continues to bring you topics now that a lot of people don't want to discuss. And I'm going to tell you, Jason, we're going to continue to discuss these topics because I believe through the conversations and communications I get from the viewing and listening audience that they want to talk about this stuff. They want to hear about this stuff. You can find all of our content at mx3.vip, and you can contact us at info@mx3.vip. How many emails do you think I'll get this week? They may be showing up at the show. We may have a lot of guests next week, Jason. We may have to run a week-long show next week. People coming in and sitting in this chair right here, this vacant chair. It's open and available for consultation. Just start texting or start sending your emails to info@mx3.vip, and Jason will get you on the schedule. Now, of course, if you'd like to see my lovely face, continue to go to YouTube, youtube.com/MX3 podcast. And of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notified of all of our new content, which comes out every Monday morning around 9 o'clock. So, for everyone who's been a part of this show, Money, Motivation, and Mike, continue to live your life the right way.